McBurney and his shoulder. How's he?
Well, obviously, he wasn't in a good place after the incident and at half time. Full credit to Ollie that he wanted to give it a go. I wouldn't expect anything different from him, and but obviously he was struggling to carry on. We'll give him as much time as possible. We're hopeful that he will take part in an early morning training session tomorrow before the game, and then we'll take it from there. But it is touch and go, and we will, as always, give him the maximum time to recover.
Because he's been, I know a lot's been discussed of Ollie McBurney, but he's become a significant player both up top and at the back in recent matches, hasn't he?
Yes, certainly he brings qualities from a defensive point of view, from set plays point of view, and it's been difficult for all the forwards. It's been difficult for the team, Andy. You know, we've not taken enough big moments in possession and out of possession, as I talked about. You know, everybody always wants to talk about stats. Well, we'll talk about stats, and expected points should be about 11 or 12. So that says to me that we've not taken enough of those big moments, and the players have all been guilty of that. And obviously the focus always goes on the players at the top of the pitch, but it isn't always. As I've said, regarding the Leicester game, I think there's 2 or 3 situations there that could have prevented the goal, and we would have come away with a point. Same in the West Ham game, and obviously same in the West Brom game, and that's just looking over 3 out of the last 4 games. So if Ollie's available, that'd be great for us, and if not, we have to get on with it, as we've had to with the obvious misses that have hurt us so far this season.
You changed things around at Southampton, and for a period of time in the second half, it bore a bit of fruit for you, didn't it? Is that something that's given you food for thought in the medium term, then, going forward?
I've always said, we have to, if anybody really sort of questions us, or our approach, or we can't do this or we can't do that tactically, I feel a little bit, I would taken back about that. I mean, everybody has their ideas on how you should play. The system has worked for us for a long time. We buy players to fit a system. We have different scenarios and situations, go-tos. When we're up in the game, when we're not up in the game. To change. Personally, I've coached every system in the book. This system suits us. It suits us at the moment, but I am open, and if it was the right thing to do to change a system to give us the best possible opportunity of getting results. But as I've said before, we have opportunities against West Ham. We don't get dominated possession-wise. We certainly have enough opportunities against West Brom. That isn't the system thing, and certainly the Leicester thing, the Leicester situation in terms of us conceding against a really good side to get us a point, which I think is a decent point. That isn't down to if we play 3, 4, 5, 10 at the back, 1 at the back. It's about individual moments, and we never took that moment. But I'm open to it, and obviously we talk and think about the game, long and hard into the night, and to try and pick the best system, and obviously put the players into round pegs that I feel that they produce their best performances from.
Is everybody else all right post Southampton then, beyond McBurney?
Yeah, they are. They're a little bit down, as you can imagine, and expect from Sunday after the game. I think the feeling in the camp would be that they didn't do enough to win the game of football, even though they're up against a really decent side. They didn't really produce their best performance and wasn't up there with the standard that I expect them to play to, and they expect them to play to. So we have to react to that, and no better game to react to than Man U at home.
I sometimes wonder because, yeah, as Richard was alluding to earlier, players like George Baldock, you can kind of hang your hat on them in terms of a mentality perspective, and plenty of others within the squad. What kind of goes through their mind in the early stages of games where you have been having these slow starts?
Well, it's not for the message that goes across to the players, and the players have got to, galvanise themselves to get out the blocks. So, the first goal in the Premier League is important. We've had opportunities to score the first goal in quite a few of the games, and we've not taken them. And obviously, then naturally, as we talk about, players don't play their free-flowing best with momentum and expression. They do get a little bit tight and edgy, and obviously that builds from game to game. And I don't think you would expect anything different. Somehow we've got to affect it to get out of that sort of mindset. I think, as I've always said, I think you know what type of manager I am, and what type of environment is it up here at Shirecliffe. There is a positive approach to a game and an honest appraisal afterwards, and then we reset and go again. So the players have got to believe that the next game is the one for things to change, and they'll only do it by believing and working harder than they have previously, and looking back and reflecting on performances that they've produced in previous games themselves and as a team to gain confidence and encouragement from that. But it's a lonely place at the moment, Andy. When your team from every aspect, from a manager's point of view, and more so from a player's point of view, when you're not getting the results that you're after, and they're working hard enough. They're giving it. They're giving it as much as they possibly can. There's going to be games where we don't play as well as we possibly can do, which I think was the one at Southampton. But like I said, quickly reset. A big 4 days for us, and hopefully we can come through these next 4 days with that light at the end of the tunnel still being there, and us getting something from both games.
If they do need a confidence boost, perhaps showing them the first half of the match against Manchester United last year. I mean, that must have been up there with some of the performance of the season.
Yeah, we don't, Andy, I don't just batter them constantly. They've been outstanding for us. The team and the players have been fabulous for this football club. I think that's why it gets so much more leeway than maybe previous players and previous teams, and what they've done and how they're going about their business. And not just last year, even this season. I thought our performance against Liverpool, I thought in certain aspects of performance against Man City, I thought, performances against, the majority of teams has basically deserved something. As I talk about these stats where people that are very keen to chuck them at me want to. You talk about expected points and expected goals, and I think if we're sat on 11 points, which is the one that's getting thrown at me at the moment, then people would say, yeah, possibly that's about right, but it isn't. So we have to take encouragement and inspiration from what this team has done, these players have done in previous. They can do it. They know they can do it. The team knows it can do it. But that's the easiest bit. The hard bit is sticking it together and going and doing it. And that's where they've got to really show the bottle and bravery to go and produce that. The performance last year was up there, as I said, and I wouldn't even be too critical about my team in that 10 minutes. Really, I would say that's what happens and can happen in the Premier League when you're playing against the likes of Rashford and Martial, and Jesse Lingard comes on, and all the superstars that Man U have got. That's what can happen. It did happen, and yet again we come roaring back in front of 33,000 at Bramall Lane, and it didn't feel like a defeat. It felt a little bit more than that, and I thought that was the least we deserved from a really pulsating game, and one that really sort of epitomised what we were about as a football club on on the terraces, on the stands, in the seats, and on the pitch together.